Good morning, or good whenever. I have a little time for some coffee and to reflect, and perhaps to ponder. Join me, why don't you? So I made this goal and I was shooting from the hip, but it was well received, meaning lots of likes and views here on YouTube. So what was this goal and this ritual I enacted that was so well received? We'll get into it, but first I have to break the thought to ask you to hit the like button. Thank you. That's necessary to keep this channel going. I really appreciate it. So I decided to buy a silver dollar each week with no end in sight. It's been 10 weeks now. Plenty of time to accumulate a small stack of silver dollars. It's also been plenty of time to reflect upon this pursuit and how I would wish to proceed. So let's get on with the reflection and the pondering, shall we? It all started when I was at a local coin shop. I guess you could say 10 weeks ago. Well, maybe it all didn't start there, but things were definitely set into motion. I stacked silver then, heavy as I could and as cheap as I could. But I started noticing that the premiums on silver were bull. And you know what else I noticed? Other things that cost a little bit more than a generic silver round. Silver Eagles had been out of the question for me because the price was too high. That day, they were just $4 more than a generic round, so that made me think. Perhaps it's time to rethink. So I bought that Eagle. And then I thought, what if I just buy a silver dollar every week? I pondered that out loud in a YouTube short, and it was well received. Lots of views. Lots of likes, so I ran with it. A silver dollar every week. Why not? I noticed something else the next week. Silver Eagles weren't the only silver dollar. They had peace dollars and Morgan dollars, and most of them were over 100 years old. Having a bunch of 100-year-old silver dollars sounds good to me for some reason. Although there may be many of them, they don't make them anymore. Also, many people like them. I also believe many more people will start to like them. Why wouldn't they? They're part of American history, and they're made of valuable material. And let's not forget the most important thing. They make direct fit air-tights for them. Oh, how I digress. Now, I've bought silver dollars for $27 up to $80 so far. And many of them cost hundreds of dollars more and thousands of dollars more. And that fascinated me. I also learned about cleaned coins and how to tell if they were cleaned. In time, I began to appreciate original luster of a coin. After all, that leads to value. And we all like to have valuables, don't we? I will say I've never sold a Morgan dollar or a peace dollar. So I am flying somewhat blind. And there is definitely a passion. After all, I did collect coins when I was a kid. Passion and finance, I am typically not a fan of. The combination of the two, that is. Passion is an emotional state which clouds logic. So I guess this is a good time to segue into pondering, as in pondering what I will be doing in the future. Will I be buying a silver dollar every week for the rest of my life? Or will I be changing course? And what would make me change course? Oh, whoops. I suppose the obvious thing is the price just gets too high for these things. But honestly, I don't think that is the real threat. After all, once passion is unleashed, our eyes can wonder. So I'll just cut to it. I'm thinking about old half dollars and maybe even Mexican reals. I'm not so sure I'll be able to pull off one of those each week. Maybe I'll have to do them in addition and in a slower manner. After all, I think those are all pricey. After reflecting, I really don't see much to ponder, at least not right now. Perhaps in 7 or 8 weeks when I get closer to the end of this tube. Until then, perhaps I'll be perusing the internet for direct fit air-tights for Mexican 8 reals and half dollars. Filling a roll of these big boys is gonna take some pondering, I'll tell you that. Centenarios ain't cheap. Oh, if you're looking at the swastikas in the background, relax. I'll show you what that is in a second. Just make sure you understand I would never glorify such things. Now that's a thumbnail. Anyhow, I know someone that likes radical comic book covers. I saw this comic at a pawn shop and they told me to buy it and they would give me more money than what I paid. I didn't text them back yet because I'm thinking about keeping it. Not because of the outrageous cover, which captivates me a bit because good art, it does draw emotion. But that's more of a novelty that would wear off. The reason I would like to keep it is because it's the first full appearance of Winter Soldier. And it's been graded a 9.8, which is like the highest I think you can get for comic books. But we'll see. I thought I would just show it to you because you watched the whole video. thank you for that. Positive or negative, please comment below. And if you're here this long, consider subscribing. Ta-ta.